Hey guys, how we doing? So today we're here with Jenny Sweeney. So Jenny is, first of all, she's a mum to a beautiful little girl, and she's also a confidence coach and an entrepreneur that runs her own business. So it's really exciting to have you here with us today,
Thank you very much.
um, sharing some value, sharing a bit about your own life journey, and hopefully sharing some tips that you can take away and add into your own life moving forward. So, Jenny, I suppose just to get us started off, anyway, if you wouldn't mind sharing maybe a little bit about your background, about what you do at the moment.
Right, so I own a barber shop in the city centre in Cork City. And this barber shop, I've been working here for 17 years, but I only got to take it over 5 years ago. It was a really, really exciting time. It didn't feel very big at the time because I had worked there so long, and I had run it for about 7 years on and off. Um, so I knew that I needed something innovative to add to the barbershop because the barbershop had failed already. So I was, one, resurrecting a business that had failed and I didn't really know how to do it. And I knew I needed something special. So I added a male waxing, male beauty salon onto it, which was the first in Cork at the time. And that has been going from strength to strength. So I've had to learn so much about building a business, about being a boss, and about keeping the business successful all
Cool.
through that time.
That kept you going, so that kept you busy.
Yes, it still keeps me busy, very
It still
busy.
keeps you busy. Cool. So, like, even like if we take a little bit of a step back and we kind of look at where you're at before all this happened, before you kind of stepped into having your own business and stuff. So, what was kind of life like for you as a teenager?
As a teenager, I was one of these very energetic people. I was very, very giddy. I suppose, in a way, I liked to be giddy because I was hiding from the fact that all of this energy that I had, I didn't really know what to do with. And I was always kind of told to be quiet, sit down, and it made me feel like all this energy that I had was a bad thing. And then I couldn't wait to leave school. So this one particular incident happened to me inside the school where I went to the guidance counsellor, the kind of career guidance
Yeah, yeah.
counsellor, and I told her I didn't want to do transition year. I wanted to go straight into fifth year because I wanted to be a hairdresser. And she told me that's ridiculous because she thought I was quite young. So she said, no, you shouldn't do that. You'll amount to nothing if you do that. So me being me, I didn't know until far later in my life that any time somebody said something negative to me, it triggered something in me that drove me on. So I knew I was going to be a hairdresser. I definitely at that point knew I wasn't going to ever give up, and I knew I didn't want to do fourth year. So I used all of the energy that I had. I pushed myself forward, and that's how I got into hairdressing at the start. So I suppose any stumbling blocks that I met, I overcome by just pushing forward, using the energy that I have, um, taking people's advice on board, but at the same time, if it's negative, I tend to do the exact opposite of what somebody says. It drives me on.
Cool. So, well, I suppose that's a really great learning curve for anybody. Anyway, that when you have a vision and you know what you want, to not let someone pull you back from that, to not let
Yes,
someone kind of say, no, you can't do that, you'll never be able to do that. And
yeah,
it sounds
and
like that you just said, no, I'm doing
no,
it.
and people do it a lot. What I now know to be true, is that when somebody says you don't do that, that's their fear. It's not really your fear, and but we don't know that when we're teenagers. I didn't know that teacher had a fear of me moving forward so fast. I thought she just really, really wanted me to do fourth year, but now I know that fourth year would never have suited me anyway. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to push forward, and I'm so, so glad that I have this natural ability to be able to push forward. Like, I know some people mightn't have that ability, but if you believe in something and you know what you want to do, focus on it, and keep going, because that's what's going to get you your end result.
No, that's incredible. And because like you hear so many people having dreams and visions of what they actually want to achieve and where they want
Mm.
to go, but then when they hear basically hear noise around them, holding them back and saying, no, you can't do this, or why are you doing that? Like you said, it's just their fear, not
Yes.
the person's fear that actually wants to do it.
Yeah,
So like if you actually listened to them back then, your life could have been completely different.
completely different. I would have went into fourth year. I'm not saying I wouldn't have enjoyed fourth year. Now, at the time, it was very different because we got a choice. Fourth year was quite new.
Yeah.
So we got a choice whether we wanted to do it or not. I know an awful lot of schools now don't have a choice. And fourth year is more focused on you being a person rather than being academic anyway, which is a fantastic opportunity to have. So I'm not saying don't ever do fourth year. But what I'm saying is that if you do know what you want to do and you do have the ability to move forward, do it. Do it. Like it's not going to be a bad thing, because if it's not for you, you're going to learn something anyway, and you are going to go on the right path eventually. So just be brave.
Awesome. Cool. So so again, like kind of looking back, what has been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced throughout your life so far?
Biggest challenges were accepting myself, accepting my energy, figuring out that it was actually okay, and using it in a positive way. Whereas now I meet people with my energy. Before I would have met people but hid my energy from them, just in case they thought I was too loud, just in case they thought I was too energetic. Whereas now I meet people, this is me. If you don't like me, I'm very sorry for your troubles.
Yeah.
Because I am amazing.
And how did you overcome those challenges of basically having your energy, and at times you're trying to hide it? How did you overcome that fear of saying, you know what, I'm just going to put my energy out there?
I had to dig deep. I had to go back to what actually happened to make me believe that my energy was bad. It brought me back to when I was quite small. Now, what I do now as a confidence coach is that I help people much younger to understand those things, so that they're not left in a space where I was nearly 40 before I found all this out. And when I went back and figured out what actually happened to me, was that I used all my energy in a very exciting way and ended up hurting somebody that I loved. I didn't hurt them really badly because I was a very small child, but the person got really cross with me, and that made me believe that my energy was a bad thing. So if I use that much energy, I will hurt somebody. And that wasn't the truth at all. That wasn't. And it took me years and years to figure out that that was the starting point of why I didn't understand my energy, or why I tried to hide it. And then what happened was, the more I tried to hide my energy, the more frustrated that I got, and I became a very reactive teenager. So if somebody said something to me that would potentially put me down or make me feel bad, I would lash out straight away. And then that was another obstacle that I had to face, because I had to try and control that then as well. So accepting yourself for who you are, it actually stops you from carrying all of these other issues that you don't need to carry at all. So whoever you are, whether people think you're good or you're bad, you're you. You need to embrace who you are. You need to accept who you are, so that you can move forward and meet the right people who will be attracted to the fantastic things about you.
Yeah, I suppose that comes back to your beliefs then as well.
Yes.
And like even the positiveness that kind of oozes out of you is incredible.
Yeah.
Like the first time when I met you in our coaching course, you just stood up and said, I'm amazing.
I am amazing.
And you constantly say I'm amazing. And the thing is, like, that's incredible, but for a lot of people, I think they find it really hard to say that.
Yeah, it is hard. And I said it for years without actually believing it. I used to say it, but I think what happens is you have two voices in your head. So you have this voice that is negative, and there's negative dialogue, and it happens to all of us. And I can't say it's wrong. It's essential for life, because unless you have the negative dialogue, you can't correct it. So the negative stuff would tell me, oh my God, don't be you, don't be hyper, don't do this, because people won't like you. And then the positive was like, you're a really nice person, of course they're going to like you. Why would they not like you? So the more you build up the positive, even though it's really awkward at the start and you feel like a fraud, you feel like, if you pass a mirror, I can stand in front of a mirror, which a lot of people can't do, and I can look at myself and go, oh my God, you're beautiful, you're amazing. That doesn't happen naturally. That is a skill that I've built up. So how it works is, you start off small and you say I'm amazing, whereas the negative dialogue will go, shut up, you are not amazing. Look at the state of your horrible hair, horrible eyes, horrible this, and it will name everything that you don't like about yourself. And then the next day you come back and you say, oh my God, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing. And the negative dialogue will come back in. But the more you do it, your positive gets louder and your negative gets a little bit lower. Focus on things that are beautiful, not things that are negative. And once you focus on things that are beautiful, everything starts to build up and you become more confident. And you will get to a point where somebody will say to you, where this is where I am now in my life. Somebody will say something bad to me and I look at them and I laugh and I say, don't be so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm amazing. And I genuinely believe it. But I didn't get there very easily. You have to work on yourself. You have to build it up from something really small. And if you do that work on yourself, you will be rewarded.
So really for anybody that's suffering with self-confidence or self-belief inside themselves, you just have to do it. You just have to be persistent. You just have to tell yourself. And the more you tell yourself, the more you will start to believe it.
Yeah.
And the more
and you need to go through the steps. You need to feel like fraud. You need to feel crazy. You need to feel all of those things before you can get to the end result. And sometimes we're afraid to say we're brilliant because socially it's not acceptable to stand up and say, I'm actually amazing. Or if there's a skill that you have and you stand up and say, I'm very good at that, some people look at you and go, God, that person is a bit too big for their boots. We've all heard it. Who does that person think they are? Doesn't matter who they think you are. If you know you're very good at something, you are quite entitled to stand up and say, I'm very good at that, and believe in yourself.
Yeah. And even little things like when someone gives you a compliment. I know for a lot of people, they can find it hard to actually receive a compliment.
Yeah.
I know I was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
But it comes back to the same thing. You need to be proud of who you are. You need to build on your beliefs. You need to own who you are.
Yes. And people don't give compliments too easily. People will give you compliments if you deserve it. You will know if people aren't authentic and give you compliments. I know we're using all these words, authentic and all this kind of thing, but authentic is just being real.
Being true to yourself.
Yeah, being true, being real. And if somebody has an energy that you don't like, you will feel it in your gut in about 5 seconds of standing in their space. You will feel it. So if somebody who hasn't got a nice energy gives you a compliment, you're probably going to feel a bit weird. Whereas if someone who is genuinely likes you and likes your energy and they have lovely energy and they say something nice to you, you're going to lap it up and it's a lovely feeling. But you do have to, and I do this an awful lot with people with confidence coaching. I help people to understand why you're getting a compliment. It's not just a compliment. Why somebody went out of their way to give you a compliment, because they probably thought you deserved it. And it's not because they're trying to be smart or they're not trying to embarrass you. They're giving you a compliment. And for the person getting the compliment, it's very important to receive it well and say, thank you. You're not saying thank you, oh, I know I'm amazing. You're saying thank you for going out of your way and taking the time to give me the compliment. That's basically where it's going down to. And that's the part that we don't understand because nobody ever explains it to us.
Yeah.
And as Steve said, it's not easy to accept a compliment, but when you get there, it gets easier. Everything gets easier after a while. It's just repetition.
No, definitely. And so just moving on from there into values, I know that's something that you've worked on a lot as well for yourself and with other people. Can you just explain a little bit what values are? Values
are the things that are very important to you. How you identify your values essentially would be, one, what's important to you, and two, things you see in other people that you don't like, then that could be a value of yours. So if somebody's being dishonest and you really hate that trait in somebody, honesty is obviously a value of yours. My core value is respect. I give a huge amount of respect to people, and I do expect it back to a certain level. You can't expect respect unless you give it out first. You have to give it out. But the person that you need to give respect to the most is yourself. And I found that out the hard way. I was respecting everybody and I was saying, Jesus, I'm so nice. I respect everybody. That's my core value. I'm leading by my values every day. But I was the one that was suffering. And people were taking my time. They were taking my energy. They were leaving me a bit drained. And I couldn't really figure out what it was. So once I figured out that the respect needed to go to me first, and it's absolutely okay for me to say, that doesn't suit me right now, but if I could move it to this time, then that would suit me better. Whereas before I was just, someone would say, can you do this for me? Yeah, but I could be in the middle of something for myself. So when you lead by your values, when you lead by the things that are very important to you, you will attract good things, good people, and good situations into your life every single day.
Oh, that's incredible. So it's really about people, first of all, kind of asking themselves what's important to them, asking themselves that question, and just taking a little bit of time to actually think about it.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we may not understand what our values are, and it's really something that's going to be uplifting to you It be things that when you look at other people, what do you expect of them?
Yes.
And then just really starting to own them and starting to work on them and seeing what impact then it can have on you. Cool. That's incredible. So recently, yourself and a group of other women released a book.
We did. I did. It's called We Summit Together.
So do you want to just tell everybody just a little bit about the book?
Yeah. So this book, we have a mentor in the middle, Donna Kennedy. She's an incredible lady. If you ever want some inspiration, some guidance, look her up on YouTube or look her up on Facebook. She has lots and lots of videos. She put this idea together where all women would write a chapter. Now, the only reason it was for women is because she does a Women's Empowerment Summit. The book is not for women, it's for men and women because they're life stories. So myself and 13 other women, we got together and we wrote a chapter each. We came together and we made this a bestseller. So it's a bestseller on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon, or you can buy it through me. I can put a link in the video comments here, so that you can contact me to buy it. But this book allowed us to free ourselves, allowed me to free myself, because I wrote a chapter called Loving Yourself. And my chapter is about all the things that I've just spoken about my values, about boundaries, which are very, very important as well, boundaries, and about going back to the source of where your belief system comes from. 99% of the time your belief system isn't yours, it's somebody else's. We're not born negative. We're not born telling people they're horrible. We don't do that as kids. So as we get older, we take on other people's belief systems and we carry them through. And we think they're our own and they're not at all. So this book allowed me to go back to the very, very start, find out where my belief systems came from, understand why I did things I did through my life, why I didn't believe in myself at certain times, and helped me to correct it.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really great to be part of something that can empower so many people as well.
It can, and there's chapters inside here that will touch somebody. They will save lives. We've said it from the very start that this book is going to save somebody's life. And I suppose we really were driving it home that it's not for women. It's written by women. It's called a collection of empowering stories by empowered women, but it's just our stories. The person who wrote it actually doesn't matter. The gender doesn't matter. They're stories that can help anybody build confidence, get out of certain situations, understand certain situations, be brave if you want to even change your job. There's something in there for absolutely everybody.
Cool. That's incredible. So yeah, we'll put a link anyway if anybody wants to check out that book. So just a last couple of questions anyway. So what tips would you have for teenagers going through school right now?
One of the most important things that I would say is school is very academically driven. And we as individuals, we are academic, but we also have a passion in life, and you need to figure out what it is. It mightn't be maths. It mightn't be anything to do with school at all. I own a business, and I'm the girl that they told me that I would amount to nothing. I own a business. Did I do barbering in school? I didn't. Am I good at it? I'm absolutely outstanding at it. Nobody told me that. I had to figure that out myself. So if there's anything at all that you want to do, and I know you can look up any book, any site, ask myself and Steve, we've read all the self-help books. We've looked at all the TED Talks. They will always say to you, you can achieve anything that you want. And you absolutely can with the right mindset. Just don't give up. Believe in who you are. Believe in what you can do. And if you don't get the best results in your junior cert or your leaving cert, I'm not saying that don't do it. Do it. I did mine. Do it. But don't ever lose focus of what you're good at. I don't care if it's collecting stamps. If that's what you're brilliant at, then be brilliant at it. Be the best at it. Make sure nobody beats you.
Yeah. Cool. So right, just imagine now you could take a step back in time. What advice would you give to your teenage self?
Oh,
come right back.
See, straight away the eyes are closed. I have to go back.
Yeah.
I would say you're beautiful. I would say you're intelligent, which is something that I never believed I was. And I'm actually far more intelligent than I ever knew I was. I would say follow your dreams and don't give up. Be you. Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video of the series. Again, this is Jenny Sweeney. What I'll do as well is I'll put a link to her social media pages. So guys, if you want to follow her or check her out, you can just click on them and yeah, and say hi.
And be amazing.
Yeah, be amazing. Okay, Jenny, thank you so
Thank you, Steve.
much.
Thank you so, so much. Thanks, guys.